gentlemen, I am back. My name is Coffee Break, and welcome to the Amateur Attack. This is going to be a fun game because I believe these are both family members. We have my previously co-caster, Sleepercells, spawning as his now main race. He used to play Protoss, but now his main race, the Purple Zerg, spawning in the lower left corner here on MLG Zelnaga Caverns. And in the top right is his younger brother who recently picked up the game. It is going to be a family match-off, a family feud, one might say. We have Zookaman as the teal Protoss player in the upper right. It should be rather amusing to watch these two people play. However, it is always fun to watch a couple of amateurs face off, and at that, a couple of family members face off. You never know what might happen. Sleepercells, once again, recently changing over from Protoss to Zerg, so really no matter what he rolled as random, he was going to be fairly well off. I mean, he had if you want to go into the odds of it, he had a 66% chance of playing a race that he was really good with already. Zookaman a little bit nervous, but there is nothing wrong with that because, as I was saying in the chat, this is all about just having fun and enjoying yourself. Sleepercells having a little bit of fun with his brother. I think it's safe to say that Zookaman is the chat favorite in this case, as there is one man rooting for Zookaman and 0 for Sleepercells. So that's just odds, folks. That's just odds. 1-0, definitely going in favor of Zookaman. Now we do have a gas steal from Zookaman, spawning pool before hatch, and as well as an extractor before hatch as well. So it looks like we are going to be seeing some metabolic boost play on this matchup. Gateway going down. This is not quite optimal position for this pylon. It should be a little bit further back so roaches cannot shoot at it when they run up the ramp. And we do have another gateway on the way for Zookaman, so maybe we'll be seeing a little bit of zealot pressure. That would always be fun. Hatchery now going down for Sleepercells at his natural base. No goofy shenanigans from him here. I actually would have expected to see a little bit of fun play out of Sleepers if he's going to be playing his brother, but we will not be. We do have our first zealot on the way. No cybernetics core yet from our Protoss player, so that warp gate tech definitely going to be a little bit delayed, but that's not too big of a deal as long as he puts on a little bit of pressure with the zealots. Now that cybernetics door does go down, and that might wall up the ramp. Nope, never mind. There's an entrance. If he can get, I don't know. I can't tell if he's walled off completely or not. It's kind of a close call. That is kind of a close call. Chrono boots down on the Nexus, not really doing too much. It looks like he forgot pro protection for a couple seconds there. Double gas, double gas, double gas. Hubba Bubba Max was the best gum ever. I am just saying. That stuff rocked. We do have the hatchery just finishing up now, except for when it got stuck in your braces. That was always the worst. So we do have this hatchery has just now finished up. This assimilator being taken down. Sleepercells not too worried about that. Just taking this expansion. Willing to go for some minerals before getting all his gas. Spine crawler goes down at the front. We do have 3 zealots out now and a supply block. That 26 pylon is always the worst to remember. Supply block going down for Zookaman. That is such a frustrating scenario to be in. The warp gate is just starting up. So that's what, about 1 minute, 2 minutes? Oh, more than 2 minutes. That is a long time before that finishes. That's about 3 minutes. Actually, probably about 2 minutes of real time. Because if you guys didn't know, this game time, because we play on, because the ladder standard is faster, the game clock is actually off. Blizzard has talked about fixing that, but they haven't actually been able to make their decision about it yet. Kind of interesting. This robotics facility does go down pretty much right under this Overlord's watchful eye. There's going to be no supply. Now, if only these zealots could throw their psi energy up and hit that Overlord, Zookaman would be in an excellent position, but unfortunately, they cannot. They cannot, which actually makes me wonder. If you guys have read into the lore at all of Starcraft, we do have, by the way, a Roach Warren on the way, as well as a Metabolic Boost about to finish up. High Templar are just zealots that have ascended to a higher caste of the Protoss. And the zealot Psi Blades are actually just energy blades that they've learned to conjure up. So why can't High Templar defend themselves with energy blades when they're being attacked by a single Zergling and don't... and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense. We do have an observer on the way now for Zookaman as soon as he becomes unsupply blocked. That seems to be quite a factor for him. Quite a factor. Now, there was a question in the chat why somebody gets so much lag when I play Starcraft 2 but not when I play games like Amnesia or Penumbra. And the answer to that is because Starcraft 2 requires more overhead because it's a much more CPU intensive game. So, just in case you were wondering, there's that answer for you. We do have a 2-base Zerg versus a 1-base Protoss right now. Looks like Sleeper going to start taking down these rocks, maybe gear up to take his 3rd base. And really, he's just content sitting back with some roaches on this map. Zellnaga Caverns, a fairly short distance between the two opponents. So, really, neither player is too worried about a big attack coming anytime soon because they know about it, really. Especially with Sleepercells having both of these watchtowers. This observer finally getting out, running down ever so slowly towards the base of Sleepercells. And we do have a robotics bay on the way, so it looks like we will be seeing some 1-base Colossus play. A little bit old, a little bit all-in-ish, but nothing too serious, nothing that can't be recovered from it. Ow, my goodness. Breaking down this pylon so that he could get into his own base and unpowering both of his gateways here. And here's something I did not know. Protoss buildings continue building even though they're unpowered. I had no idea, actually. Warp gate tech is now finished, but neither of these gateways warp gates yet. And also, once again, they are unpowered for a little bit there. Now, finally, 2 of them getting powered back up. Nexus being dropped for Zookaman. So it looks like he is not looking to do any heavy Colossus play. 3rd base being dropped by Sleepercells and taking glial reconstruction as well now. Extended thermal lance is now on the way, as well as 2 evolution chambers for that double upgrade. You never want to let a Zerg get the chance to go on double upgrades, and never want a Zerg to be able to sit back on 3, make that 4 bases. If Zookaman wants to try to stay alive in this game, he's really going to have to push out and take at least 1 of these bases out, and best if he could get 2 of the bases. Sleepercells actually does not have much on the map in the way of units. Only 10 roaches to fight with and 4 queens. However, his creep spread is rather good. So he could easily pull queens up to reinforce. However, that being said, he only has 10 roaches on the field. And Zookaman, if he decided to push out, could actually probably do a little bit of damage. As you did see just a huge round of drones pop out. There were 10 drones in production right there. So a lot of drones now on the field. Our harvester count 53 to 29 in favor of Sleepercells. That is imbalanced if I have ever seen it right there. Zookaman really falling behind in that harvester count. There's our probe transfer to the natural for Zookaman. And another round of 10 drones on the way for Sleepercells. So he is going to have a massive advantage in just a few moments. And I'm going to be honest, this building layout has me a little bit confused, as Sleepercells, if he wanted to, could just put an Overlord over the top of the cliff and bring some roaches to the side here and be able to pick off buildings with the greatest of ease. And Zookaman, unless he wanted to push out and put his army at risk, would just have to let it happen. We did have extended thermal lance finish up, and now our first Colossus is on the way. Another cycle of drones for Sleepercells. There are 12 drones there. We are now up to the perfect number, 75 harvesters. A few just kind of sitting around, not doing too much. However, that does not make too much of a difference, as it is 75 to 32 harvesters on the field now for Sleepercells. So he is in a very happy position, and now happy just to start making roaches. He's going to be able to max out very quickly if he just makes a lot of roaches. Roaches, easy to make, cheap. I believe they are 75-25 in that resource count, and 2 food. We do have a Twilight Council now being dropped for our Protoss player Zookaman, as well as a second robotics facility. So we might be seeing double Colossus out of Zookaman, and maybe charge. Another round of drones now spawning for Sleepercells. There were 13 in that round. He is now up to 86 drones. and he really can't afford to make too many drones, otherwise his army size is going to start to suffer. We do have tunneling claws on the way now for Sleepercells that'll allow him, obviously, to move underground with those roaches. And I believe, is tunneling claws also the one that gives you the regeneration buff? Yes, it does. Increases life regeneration while burrowed. Okay. A lot of zealots on the field now. We don't have any tech coming out of that Twilight Council quite yet. 2 more gateways finishing up, which will give a total of 6, I believe. I don't see any others on the low ground. And 6 gateways and 2 robos should be just fine. Banking a lot of resources, really needs to try to catch up in that gas is where he is lacking behind. He does have currently, he only has 2 geysers mining at full capacity. A 3rd geyser only has 1 harvester on it, so if he got a couple more on that geyser, he would be alright. This geyser only has 2, so really he has 3 geysers mining right now, if you want to look at it in that right. Weapons level 1 and armor level 1 about to finish up for our Zerg player, and it looks like we have a spine crawler picking away at the rocks for Zookaman's gold base. Oh boy, Sleepercells, you slimy git. It is now 200 to 100 supply, maxed out for both players, technically, as Zookaman is at 100. We do have the roaches moving into the base now. It looks like we are finally going to be seeing the engagement we have been waiting for. These roaches just kind of taking a lot of shots from these immortals. A bad force field goes down, which really does nothing to this army. Another force field go down, does not do too much, and we really need to be seeing a warband if Zookaman wants to be able to have any chance of holding these off, as I do not believe this is the full army of Sleepercells. He is not fully committing to this attack. There are a lot of roaches here. Now a few decent force fields go down and cut about half the roaches in half. However, this Colossus is just frying away at this, but now on the move order to go attack some of the roaches behind the force fields puts that Colossus completely out in the open, and the Colossus doesn't go down. There are only a few sentries and a couple of stalkers left. This did not go well for Zookaman. Sleepercells only losing 18 supply total in that combat. Zookaman losing over 50 and still losing more. Zookaman does not have an answer for this, and I just do not think there is any way that he can come back from this. Charge is about to finish. We do have another Colossi out on the field, but it just is not going to be enough. There goes a small Warpin, just now getting all that cooldown. Zelex has finished now. We could really see a force field on that ramp. That was a perfect force field from Zookaman to be able to hold off this army. But really, I feel like he is just holding off the inevitable, especially since Sleepercells can actually burrow under these force fields. And I don't know why he isn't. Maybe he's just giving Zookaman a false sense of security. I don't know if Zookaman realizes how bad of a situation this is. Sleepercells is on 4 bases right now. Now Sleepercells is finally able to push up the ramp, start taking out a couple of buildings. These force fields just getting increasingly worse and worse. Finally, a force field goes down to stop more roaches from flooding into the base. However, there's an entrance right there for the roaches. And now a huge gap opened as a gateway does fall. The Cybernetic Scroll could fall as well fairly shortly. Sleepercells moving up into the base of Zookaman. 2 gateways unpowered, and we are now down to 4 gateways left. Too many roaches here. This Colossus doing a lot of splash damage, but no kills yet. Sleepercells has too much firepower over Zookaman, and finally gets the surround on this army with all these roaches. Every last offensive unit falls now. A few more zealots being morphed in, but I don't think it's going to quite be enough, as once again there are so many roaches here. Really, these zealots could just wail away as long as they wanted to, and these roaches could just go on a base race and still win the game. There is no nexus left, and there's the GG from Zookaman in that game. So we had a family feud going on. Sleepercells, the much more experienced player. Zookaman giving it a very good effort, but in the end was just not quite able to come out on top.